at home. And this is what we have to change. This is the more critical challenge that we have. How? With our values, with our understanding, with being here at home, we get this feeling that we are sharing this sense of belonging and building the future. So having said this, there are many issues and many challenges. The first one is, of course, and this was said tonight many times, trust. Mistrust is apparently is the rule everywhere. In my country, I'm a Swiss citizen, they voted for banning the minarets. And in other countries, you have this discussion in France, we are talking about the burqa. In this country, we are talking about terror legislation or anti-terror legislation. So there is something which is a perception in every single European country. There is one controversy, putting the Muslim or targeting the Muslim as the other, as the perception that they are discriminated. And this has to be changed. And this is why we are here together. And this is what I understood, and the great job done by MCB and so many other organizations is really to try to change this perception and to change the states of affairs. So let us start with this. There are difficulties and there are challenges, and we have to acknowledge that it's not going to be easy. It's not easy, and it will take time. In the last book which was mentioned, I'm saying we need at least 2 generations to change the state of affairs, but not 2 generations of passive attitude, but active and commitment to change the situation with all our partners in our society, in Britain, as well as throughout the European and the Western countries. And there are victims, yes. There are victims of discrimination, and sometimes when you are at the borders, you feel that you are a Muslim. You feel that you are perceived as not really a truly citizen. Yes, there are victims, but there is something that we have to stop, and we have to stop it. And by doing what MCB is doing and many other organizations is to stop the victim mentality. There are victims, but we are not nurturing the victim mentality. We have to stand up. We have to know our rights as well as our duties, because we have duties towards our society. So it's a two-way process. Our duties, our commitment to change the society for the better, and also asking for our rights. No victim mentality is the way forward. And this is where we have to work together. And it means, and this is also a word that we heard today, empowerment. Empowerment is essential, is really a sense of being a part of the society, to be autonomous, to know what we want, to know in which way we are going to succeed by being both fully Muslims and fully British or fully Europeans. This is one. Empowerment is a key factor here, and this is what we have to work on. Contribution. Now, when the people are coming to me, I was born and raised in Europe, and they are talking to me about you have to integrate, for me, it's over. We are in the post-integration discourse now. It's about contribution and active contribution and constructive contribution. And sometimes a constructive contribution is a critical contribution. It's not only to say yes, 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 sir. It's also to say no. It's also I disagree. It's a sense of dissent. It's to be a true citizen. A true citizen is not a blind, loyal citizen. It's a critical citizen. Critical citizen means I am with my government when my government is right. I am going to be critical when I think that it's wrong. This is the way I should be trusted. If I'm only trusted because I say yes, there is no trust. There is nothing that you can learn from this process. We are not going to succeed in having an open society for the future if some people are expected to say yes just to prove that they are loyal. Loyalty is always critical. But let me, because for the last few minutes that I have here, say some of the challenges that we have. Because very often, as we are perceived sometimes, and Islam is perceived as a problem in the West, we tend to come to some of the solutions that are formalistic solutions and reactive solutions to the problems that we have. Let me say something which for me it's the deepest problem that we have. It has to do with confidence. Because traveling around Europe and traveling around the British society, there is something which is a lack of confidence, a psychological crisis. And I think that the most important challenge that we have now is about education. It's about spirituality. It's about transmitting the meaning of life. It's exactly what I was starting with today, by telling all of us, one day you are going to be alone. With your titles, Lord, Prime Minister, Minister, Professors, one day you are alone, with your name facing your death. And this is the meaning of life. This is the real meaning of life. And if we have something to transmit to our kids is how do you get this sense of meaning? To look to the quest for meaning. So as a Muslim, the true freedom that I'm giving to my kids is not to tell them nothing about it, is to tell them what I can about it. And freedom is with knowledge. Know about religions, know about spiritualities, know about philosophies, and look for your own way. But you have to transmit this. And this is a challenge in every single industrialized society. How do we do that? So as a Muslim, I have a problem now. I'm a father. And really just to speak about all these problems as if this is not a problem in which we are educating our kids, when we were talking now about also our society. So it has to do with educating the essence, the essential principles. It has to do with educating ethics. I'm not for something which is Muslims, you should know your difference by being just different in the way you dress. No, with this ethical distinction. The way you act, the way you behave, the way you talk, the way you serve. We were talking about Islamic relief, and we are talking about Muslim, and this is the way we show that solidarity as the way you are, the way you serve the people. This is one of the main challenges, is the way we have to come to this. So let us not be misled by all the psychological pressure on you Muslims, prove that you are good British citizens, and forgetting the essence of some of the challenges that are part of our individual behavior and collective behavior. It's also to speak about justice, it's also to speak about peace, inner peace and collective peace, and to be able also to share with our fellow citizens, with the governments, that to get the sense of belonging, it's also in our schools, in our curriculum, to be able to say something